Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. Today's subject is all about Scottish Police Rider training and what it's like to be the best. In this video we'll see what happens after I stumbled across a group of 4 police riders and had the privilege and the pleasure to ride with them, and also to see how it's done. This is the third video of 3, and in the previous video we witnessed how a candidate police rider under training performs and overtakes using a different technique to their colleague. And in this third video we'll now witness how the second candidate applies Class 1 rider techniques when following a lorry prior to the overtake that was shown in video 2. And are there any lessons to be learned, and will they keep to the training standards and directives? If you're new to the channel, and welcome, and please feel free to view some of my other videos which are often interlinked for your pleasure, and don't forget to like and subscribe as I would appreciate that ever so much. And if you haven't seen the first 2 videos, I would suggest that you do so now and return to this video, as it will help with the continuity of activity. The links are in the description below. In this video we can see now the second pair of riders following a lorry around about 40 miles an hour. The lead pair of riders have cleared the lorry and making further progress. It's likely the riders are familiar with this road, as it's a popular main arterial route from Kinross to Kincardine, with quite often a high volume of traffic and favoured by HGVs. A small point to note: a comment was given in the last video that it's likely of the 4 riders that only the instructor would be in position 2 of their convoy of 4, with the remaining 3 riders, the first, the third and the fourth, all being candidates. So I accept this to be true, and from now on we'll identify the riders in this video as a lead rider and a second rider. And just to underline, the day was bright and slightly overcast, but dry, with ambient temperatures around about 17 degrees Celsius, marginal wind with a clear view ahead, and dry roads offering high levels of grip, with light traffic both behind and towards. If we freeze frame at this point, we can just make out the lead pair of riders reducing their speed in front of the lorry on entry to a speed reduction zone. And what can we take at this point? The sign suggests a town or village with a speed reduction limit of 30 miles per hour. The road markings centrally suggest a hazard area backed up with the word slow painted upon the road surface. And we can ask also at this point, if the road surface speed sign is posted and the central white line is a hazard indication, why has the council gone to further expense to place the slow word upon the road? Councils, as we know, are reluctant to spend money where there's no legal requirement to do so, so why here? Every area of public road which has a hazard gives direction to councils of their responsibility ordered by the Secretary of State for Transport, and dictates to each council that a thorough risk analysis must be carried out and the appropriate signs in place to match the given regulations. The current Secretary of State for Transport is Louise Hay, who started her professional life as a special constable after achieving her degree in politics. She now earns a 6-figure sum. Not bad for a special constable. Whenever I see a slow sign ahead on the road surface, I always ask, why is it there? I quote to other riders when riding and seeing this sign to slow until you know. Until you know why it's there. Just because the 30 mile an hour sign indicates the reduced entry speed, it does not suggest that 30 mile an hour is suitable for any approaching hazards. It is your responsibility to identify what the hazard may be and adjust your speed to suit if needed. In this case, we could suggest that the additional black and white chevrons are identifying what the hazard is in respect to the bend ahead. We will now follow the second pair of riders and see how they in turn read, act or react to the road conditions as they approach. I have opted to freeze frame straight away to highlight one point: safety. Your safety as a rider is paramount, as without safety there is no point in riding on a public road. In this picture, if we acknowledge the road surface conditions, and we can see clearly that the road is of poor state of repair, and both riders have now applied the P of IPSCA and adopted position 1 due to identifying the right hand bend ahead. It could be argued that levels of grip and handlebar controls could be affected by the graininess and the patched areas on the road surface, and it is stated never to ride along the crease of a new patch of road surface, especially one without tarmac seams, as the gap can pull at the front wheel and unbalance the rider. As the video continues, the lead rider ignores the road surface and safety to maintain their position, whereas the second rider adjusts their position, if anything, a little bit late. And could we also ask at this time, is the lead rider riding too close to the lorry in front to achieve any valuable visibility of the road ahead, bearing in mind the advice from the highway code to apply the 2-second rule? As we enter the bends, the second rider continues to use the safer road surface, so a thumbs up there, and so confident in their safety that they've removed their left hand momentarily from the handlebar in a bid to relax. In the last video, I mentioned that I think police riders, when training, should not use police bikes or clothing due to their appearance affecting how other road users behave. And if you watch the position of the oncoming vehicles when they see the riders, they move closely to the near side, for which some of them is abnormal and may be a concern, especially for those driving HGVs and coaches. As we follow, I would ask, is there any perceived advantage of the second rider staying in position 3 or the offside? Why travel so close to oncoming traffic at all? Simply dropping back a little bit more from the lorry and moving a little bit further away from the white line would give you the same visual link ahead and a greater and more robust safety bubble. And now, as we head to Clackmannanshire, the speed picks up, and once more we see the oncoming lorry driver running along the curb to give space to these riders. Lorries don't normally do this. Here we have a long straight stretch of road with a hazard line marked centrally within the road to suggest an ongoing hazard area. As we look ahead, we see the signs of further buildings which would suggest heavy duty or even agricultural vehicle movement, which may affect our progress. And time will tell, but note the lead rider still favours the set off position. Just look how close to the oncoming lorries the lead rider gets as opposed to the adjusted position of the second rider. And as we enter once more a speed reduced zone, there is the additional slow sign marked upon the road, but neither do the lorry or riders adjust their speed. Just remember, slow until you know. The central white hazard line has changed to a single solid line to suggest no overtaking at this point. The evidence of the buildings is now confirmed, and with that comes additional hazards to be witnessed by both riders. Once more, the black and white chevrons indicate the direction of a bend with no adjustment to any one speed. If we look at the 11 o'clock position, hidden within the tree line, we can make out a warning sign showing a junction to the right followed by one to the left. Is it possible that the riders did not see this sign due to being so close to the lorry? And would this be a suitable time to increase our distance from the lorry should the lorry need to slow before turning right or turning left? In the event of an accident, the position and condition of this road sign could be called of the council to account due to it not being clear and visible. Its dirty condition is caused probably by a combination of it being placed in a microclimate zone. So where was the risk analysis there? Which would experience more cold and wet and damp conditions for longer, and with the dirt being kicked up from the vehicles braking for the bend, sticking onto the sign, causing it to be excessively invisible. And as we negotiate the bend, the single solid line now becomes a double, which should heighten your concern as to what lies ahead. Remember, the more paint on the road equals more danger to you. And suddenly, out pops another road sign. This one with a green background, confirming we're on a main arterial route, and in order of march you would read the sign from the top, normally to the bottom. And we can see here the route that we are on can lead to a dual section of road, as indicated by the yellow road numbers. But the next level down has a white square with black writing indicating a turn to the right would place you onto a local road which could vary in size. And within the white square is also a brown tourist sign suggesting that non-locals could be using this junction and may not be familiar with its layout. Further reasons to drop back from the lorry. And finally the white square at the bottom, but the turning to the left, once more being that of a local road. At this point I would accept that position 3 is the more central and safer position due to the size and layout of these junctions. And as we witness the changing of position for the two riders, we can notice how the second rider adjusts firstly, followed by the lead rider. I am thinking the second rider may be a more experienced class 1 rider and maybe an assistant to the instructor. I ask, why did they leave it so late to alter position from 3 to 1 rather than as soon as they cleared the left junction, whose approaching car was some 50 to 100 yards off. And we now head towards national speed limit signs once more, but the hazard area is still highlighted by the road marking centrally. And was the right hand bend ahead picked up by the lead rider as far back as the last junctions? And are they now positioning for safety or observation? Is an overtake on the books? We see at this point the central road marking changes again from a hazard to a solid single on our side of the road, suggesting not to overtake, then quickly converts into a double to cover the blind brow ahead. Is the lead rider still too close to the lorry, or is this an extended overtaking position? From this freeze frame we can see that it's likely I can see more clearly than the lead rider due to the closeness of the lorry to them. And I will make a video all about making best progress in the future, but to highlight this for now, do you think that we are all making best progress? Please leave your comments below. Once more we see the second rider adjusting position first and maybe prompting the lead rider to adjust. I will point out at this time that the positions I have taken as now are the ones which I favour unless a particular part of the video can be improved by adjusting my position to one that I wouldn't normally use. But for now I'm happy where I am, and I'm happy and sure that the lorry driver is not concerned about where I am, as they can see me clearly. But can the lorry driver see the second rider? In this section I ask, why is the second rider moving around so much when all that was seen could have been seen earlier from position 1 to where they've now returned? Is this rider working too hard? Is it fair to say at this point that the lead rider is too close to the lorry and has been for far too long without achieving any advantage, probably causing stress to the lorry driver, who is spending more time looking in their mirrors than forwards? I would like to think that the lead rider is at the beginning of their training and hopefully not at the end of their course, as I for one are generally unhappy with their performance. It is at this point that we now reach the start of the second video, where this lead rider finally overtakes this lorry, leaving the second rider behind. So we will leave this video here, and I will need to make an additional video called 3 Alpha. And this will cover where I overtake all 4 riders. But for now, what are your thoughts? Is this lead rider new on the course? Is the second rider more experienced? Did the lead rider follow too closely the lorry, bearing in mind the 2-second rule, but also that the distance on these cameras makes things look further away than they actually are? And did the riders work too hard for little gain? Did they make best progress? Leave your answers below, and maybe I will make a summary video overall to include your answers. But for now, and as always, think safe, ride safe, and hope to see you reading your road ahead more clearly the next time you ride. Bye for now.